Welcome back, class. Last tutorial that we looked at, we actually had created our mug. It looks really nice, and so a couple things that I want to do kind of next is I want to put the mug on the same, place as my donut is. And as we look at these two, you can clearly see that my mug is significantly bigger than my donut, and so we're going to have to do some rescaling of things, and that's okay. How we put these things on the same, thing. I'll click on this first donut here. If I hold shift and then I click on the other artifact, it'll actually put both of them in the same side. Now, I can't see them right now, but if I just do this, whoop, there it is. And if I hit one, whoop, I actually don't need that thing anymore. I might actually turn that off. I'm going to get rid of that because I actually don't need that mug anymore. So when I hit one, it's still where it needs to be at. And then I'm actually going to move this. And then I'm going to scale this down quite a bit. And I'm going to move it. Cool. I'll select all that. I'm going to hit G and Z. Ooh. Select G and Z. There you go. So there we go. So those things look like they're on the plane, and away we go. What I want to do next, and I guess my objective here is I'm going to add a plane because it's going to act as my table. So I'm going to add a plane by hitting Shift A. I'm going to hit plane, and I'm going to hit S, and I'm going to start to resize that until it's about the size of that little grid space there. Now it can be bigger, it can be smaller. It really doesn't matter how big this thing is, but that's going to represent the table that we're going to work on, and that makes things kind of nice. If I want to check my progress and see how things look, I can actually click on here and hit rendered. And yeah, there's my scene right now. Now a couple things that we're going to notice as we look at these things. I've added a light in here, and so I clicked on my lamp, and I don't have the same stuff that you guys do right now. I'll click on lamp over here. There was a button that said use nodes, and I changed the strength of my lamp to about 5,000. I think it defaults it to 100. That's certainly not big enough, but a 5,000 is certainly big enough. And I notice I don't have any color in here. That's something that I could, not I could, but I want to change right now. So how I mess with, I guess getting color in here is pretty simple. I'm going to split my screen. So I'm going to click. Oh, that's the wrong button. I'm going to click up here. I'm going to pull it over, and I'm going to hit T on the right side, so that way I can see things. And what I'm going to do on the right side, on the bottom left, it's in 3D view. I'm going to change this to node editor. And what we'll notice right away is I have a node, but this is for a lamp, and I don't really want a lamp. So I'm going to change this to my donut because I want to give some things to my donut. I don't actually have any, basically anything over here. I'm going to click on the material view. I'm going to hit new, and I don't actually have any color for my donut right now. But once I clicked all this stuff, I can actually click on here, change the color. Ooh, look at that. I can see my donut right now. That actually looks really good. I like that. I actually might like the white frosting. I'll click on the frosting. We'll notice that there's no nodes over here. I'll hit new, and I'm going to change this. Maybe I'm going to make this a chocolate donut, right? Which that's really not what chocolate looks like. I know that. Maybe I want this to, I'm thinking about the other colors of donuts we know. I'm going to change it to blue, but I'm going to give it some darkness. That looks kind of cool right there. I can also change the reflectiveness of this object pretty easily. I'm going to be over here in my node editor. I'm going to hit Shift A, and I'm going to go to shader, and I'm going to add a shader, but I want a glossy shader. So I'll click this right here, and between the diffuse and the glossy shader, I'm going to hit Shift A, and I'm going to go to mix because I want to mix these shaders. So I'm in the shader. I'm going to mix shader, and I'm going to click that, and then I'm going to put this down here, and wow. It changes that quite a bit. Really changes the the amount of gloss. I don't really want it as glossy as that. That's probably a little bit too much. Right? And that's really silver looking too. Add some gloss. I'm going to make the color even darker. Wow, that looks pretty nice right there. I like that. I can change the roughness value on here too to give it a little bit less sheen. So that's a way that we can change that. And then I can think about my colors over here too. I can do the same thing with my mug. If I wanted to give it a little bit of color, I could. So maybe I want to make it green or just kind of a pink a little bit, which I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make it a little less saturated, good. And mugs have a little bit of reflectiveness too, so I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna go to shader, go to glossy, Shift A, shader, mix shader, click, put that in, and I'm gonna make it a little rougher, mix that a little bit more, and that makes that a little reflective. So there we go. All right.